Welcome, hola, what's good? Hey, y'all, hey. You are tuned in to CircleUp with A.herd. What's good, family? Here we are, season 7, and I'm excited about it. I am so excited to finally be here. Oh my gosh, the title alone, He Keeps on Blessing Me. I'm in awe. I believe that these testimonies, these stories that the individuals are sharing, friends, family members, those that we just met, those that we've known forever, these words of encouragement that they're sharing is really the blessings that's going to help us in this next process of our journey. So many times I've thought that it was only the things that I can touch which made it be a blessing, but I've grown to learn throughout this journey that it's literally the words, the stories, the testimonies that people share. Once it pierced my ear, once it pierced my heart, I've learned that that was that thing that I was able to hold on to a little bit longer, and it encouraged me and inspired me to keep going. And so my prayer for this season is that the stories that they share, the testimonies that they have agreed and given their yes to, are the very things that bless you. And so today I am super excited to have a very special guest. Many of you may have seen the new store, Sanctuary Girl, inside of Crabtree Mall. And if you haven't, I encourage you to run out there and go check it out. But the founder, the owner, is on cast today. She is here with CircleUp, and I'm just so thankful and glad to hear her share her story, her testimony with you all today. So, Monica, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, thank you so much for your yes. Every time I talk about the store, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get there." I always highlight that prayer wall.
Oh, I love it.
And then I have people that are like, they want to know the story so bad. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to step out there. I'm going to ask Monica to be on the cast. And so that way, not only those that have asked can hear the story, but those who don't even know can be introduced to it. So I love it. I love it. Thank you for your yes.
My pleasure. I'm so excited to share.
So some of the cool things that I have seen since I walked into this store, you guys, you would just be amazed. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of the Christian stores are gone now. I went out looking for a new book, and I literally had to order it online. And I remember one day I was in the mall, and I was walking around, and we seen this store, and it was really cute. It was like Sanctuary Girl. And I was like, I wonder what this is. And I'm telling you guys, this is not just the place that you can go to and get those cute little books with all the amazing quotes and cute necklaces and jewels that just remind you of how good God is. But when you walk through those doors, you literally feel the Spirit. The Holy Spirit is just like filled in that place. And there's a living room where you can just enjoy, sit back and study. There's actually a wall that I just talked about, my one of my favorite spaces. You can go in there and literally write down your prayer request and put it on a wall, and they actually pray over it. Like, where do they do that at? The Sanctuary Girl.
Yes,
And
we do.
so I love this. And just these are just some of the few things that I love about the store. But I know that Monica wears so many more hats. And so, Monica, if you will, just share a little with us about some of the different hats you wear, some of the things you do, and maybe a fun fact with us.
Yeah, definitely. So I have been an entrepreneur for 30 years. And I have worked in all different kinds of businesses, from online to brick and mortar to just coaching, all of the different things. And one of the things that I truly love to do, and that the Lord, I'll share in my story, but that I do a little more, is I coach faith led businesses on how to grow, women, mostly women who want to create their own business. So I'm able to do that. And that's through a ministry called Mon Ministries, and where I'm just equipping faith led entrepreneurs to share Jesus in the marketplace, which is what we're doing through Sanctuary Girl. A fun fact about me is that I am a mom of 8. I have 2 sets of twins, are my younger 4 children, ranging from 29 all the way down to 8 are my youngest set of twins.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yes, so I have my hands full. Also, working Sanctuary Girl, We homeschool as well. So it's been quite an adventure this year, but God has been faithful. He has been faithful, and I just cannot wait to see I know something is around the corner, and I'm running full throttle towards it.
Oh my gosh, Monica, I'm smiling like from ear to ear, like, what? Oh my gosh, two sets of twins, 8 kids.
Yep.
Have you ever seen John and Kate plus 8?
Yes.
I followed their whole life story. I'm like, how do you do it? You are phenomenal. Oh my gosh. I have 2 kids, one boy, one girl, and I am just like, I thought my hands were full.
So now
Your
you know
arms are full.
anybody can do it. Anybody
Yes.
can do it. Whatever God gives you, you've got it.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, that is phenomenal. That was such a great fun fact. I cannot believe it. But hey, you said it, so I trust it. So, Monica, oh my gosh, you have me mind blown. I am so, so, so grateful for your yes again, I say. And I am just not going to waste any time. I cannot wait to hear more. So, let's not waste any time. Drive us right into your testimony.
Yes. Oh, I love to share my testimony because every time I tell it myself, I am in awe of
Wow.
just how God is a connector of dots. And this all began when I said my first yes. And you will see by the end of this how he will never forget your first yes.
Wow.
And he will pursue you so that you stand within the boundaries of that yes throughout your life. Even when you don't see he's there, he's working behind the scenes for that. So it started when I was 15. I went to my first youth retreat, and I gave my life to Christ. And throughout the years after that, I started ministering with youth and doing more youth retreats. I went to the university and I got a degree in religious studies so that I could be a youth pastor. And the everything was going well. I even got my first job doing all of that. But I also got married when I was 20, and I had my first 2 children before I graduated from college. So I walked up with them to get my diploma,
Oh.
which was kind of something. So what I quickly discovered was that you have very little time with very little kids, but teenagers need nights and weekends, which was something that was difficult for me with such small children. So I ended up, after about 2 years, leaving that to the side, and I became an entrepreneur.
Mm.
And for the next 27 years, I went headfirst into the world of business. I had a relationship with God, but it was more of oh, yeah, you're there when I need you, right? You're in the
Mhm.
middle of a crisis, you feel sick, whatever it is, and then you remember God.
Yeah.
it was kind of like that. And even if I was involved in church and doing different things, it still was not the same as when I had originally given him my yes, and I was able to do all the things because I had more time freedom as well.
Right.
So over the years, I ended up assuming this position of being a people pleaser, of just saying yes to everything, becoming an actual workaholic, which I went through a whole program for it, believe it or not.
Wow.
And uh, my whole identity was wrapped around what I did and if I could gain the approval of man.
Mm.
And so much so that I ended up getting very sick. And during those years of getting sick, I went through a 2-year period of nonstop anxiety and panic attacks that literally came out of nowhere.
Oh,
There was
wow.
like nothing to say that this was going to happen. So I went into the hospital. They said I didn't have anything. And I went from becoming the social butterfly and the go-to person at my kids' school, I was working there as well, uh, to a hermit. I could not drive. I didn't want to socialize with anybody because I thought something was going to happen. And it went on for 2 years.
Wow.
And it was intense. it was very, very intense because I had no idea where it had come from.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, poof, it went away. It was the strangest
What?
time of my life. Just, it came out of nowhere and it left out of nowhere.
And at this time, were you just still doing like the same cycle, or had you like gotten, given another yes, or?
No, at that
Oh,
time
wow.
I was still in the middle of everything. I
God
was
is
still
so
in the
good.
middle of everything. It was yeah, it was a crazy time. Really just surviving during all of these years. And it wasn't until the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019, when I miraculously encountered Sanctuary Girl out of through one of my clients. Actually, she had put a banner on her Facebook page and it looked really fancy, and I knew that she didn't have the skills to create that banner. So I went and I Googled it and I saw that because Sanctuary Girl started as a direct sales company.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was so cool because I had worked in network marketing for a few years, and I would coach a lot of network marketers. And I said, oh man, a faith-based direct sales company, you
Right.
never hear anything like that. I said, I'm not going to sell or anything because I'm coaching people. I wanted to be neutral, but I do want to support. And I want that kit. So I bought the kit. I went online, I bought the kit, and then I sent the CEO a message and I said, I just bought the kit. I just wanted to tell you that I totally support what you're doing. Congratulations, keep moving forward. If you need anything, let me know. I'm here. And I didn't think I was going to hear back, but within 15 minutes, she said, you're not going to believe this, but I need to talk to you. And I thought that was very strange. So within a few minutes, we were on the phone and she said, first of all, let me tell you that I need to refund you for that kit. And I said, why? She said, well, the system, it was turned off to purchase anything. We have no idea how you got through because
Wow.
they had originally just wanted 300 ambassadors to sign up. So that the limit had already been reached. They turned everything off in all of their, in the back end, and my order went through.
Wow.
So, of course, this is God. And she said, but I looked through your Facebook profile and you are actually exactly what we need on our corporate team. We need somebody to help train our ambassadors to not spam Jesus. Is what it was. How to show up online and just be normal and
Yeah.
natural. So she said, how would you like to be part of our corporate team? So I went from buying a kit that I wasn't supposed to get to all of a sudden within a week being on the corporate team. And through Sanctuary Girl is where God took my 27 years of business experience and paired it with my first yes and my first calling to
Wow.
ministry. And he just blended those two together so beautifully.
Wow.
So
Wow.
beautifully. Yes.
That is just amazing. I was doing a podcast with someone not too long ago, a good friend, and she was talking about her yes, the surrender in your yes. And something that you said that I absolutely love is you said during your first yes, like that first yes you gave, how he was just with you the whole way through making it all work together, right? And so I'm just in awe because sometimes we feel that, and that when we do that first yes, or we give our first yes, we feel like we are all in. There is no turnaround. There is nothing that can stop us, reshape us. Like we are sold,
Exactly.
all of the emotions are just tied in, right? And then, time goes on and it's like we find ourselves losing grip of that yes. And we don't expect that because, the feeling that comes with that first yes is like
Yeah.
something that's just hard to explain almost. Sometimes it's hard to put into words.
Right.
And so when we find ourselves in that scary place, losing grip of our yes, it's almost like Now, what do you do in this place? And I think what blessed me so much about this conversation is, or about your testimony, your story, is that even when we feel like we have no grip, even when we feel like we lost like everything we had when we first surrendered, when we first said yes, like God is still there. We can have faith. We can now hear this and have faith, knowing that even in that place, God is still working things for us.
Oh, definitely. And this
Years.
is, yeah, and this is actually just this is 1/3 of the testimony.
Oh my God.
Literally. There is more, because after your yes, the Lord took me through what surrender and obedience really looks like.
Yeah.
And in at the end of 2019, I don't know if you have entrepreneurial friends, but it's kind of a given that every year you choose your word of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking for mine and I couldn't decide. But one day at the end of 2019, it was December, I was walking in my room and I just heard out of the blue the word speak.
Mm.
And I did not know what that meant. So I went into prayer about it, because by now, with the introduction of Sanctuary Girl again, then that was my go-to, right?
Yeah.
I was
Mm-hmm.
pursuing God again. And he said, you are going to go live on Facebook every day of 2020 and talk about me. And I said, Lord, do you know how many kids I have? Do you know how busy I am? And he said, yes. Are you going to do it or not? Are you going to do it or not? I'm like, Lord, I have not spoken about you in forever, like in the way that I did when I was in, my early 20s.
Right.
And he said, don't worry, I will supply everything that you need. So I said, okay,
Wow.
I'll try. So January 1st of 2020, I sat down in my chair. I went live, but right before I went live, check this out. I have a degree in religious studies.
Uh-huh.
I had working knowledge of the Bible. When I sat down, he erased everything
Oh my
from
gosh.
my memory, everything.
Oh my gosh.
Literally my whole college degree. I could have saved so much money. And
Look,
so
all
I
that you know,
said,
now you know nothing.
exactly. And I went into a little bit of a panic, and I just heard, everything you learned was from your head, and I'm going to
Wow.
teach it to you. My Holy Spirit is going to teach it to you from your heart.
This is so good.
Yes. And so I said, okay, Lord. And I sat down and I started talking, and I went on for like 30 minutes. And it ended up being day after day after day after day. And I thought that, 365 days is a long time for there to be a technical glitch, to be sick, to just have all the things happen.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. Every time I was sick, for whatever reason, I would sit in this chair and every single symptom would leave.
Wow.
Every single symptom would leave. Until I was done, I would either crawl back in bed or I would be fine for the rest of the day. But he would let me get through what he needed to say in that time. And
Wow.
so by the time it was around 6 months, the Lord had me transform my business from being more secular business, which was mompreneur hacks, because
Uh-huh.
I was a mom entrepreneur and I had tons of hacks to tell people. I went from that to faith-led business, which is what I turned my business into. And it turned into a podcast. And I ended up going actually 426 days in a row.
Wow.
Where he supplied every word, where he was ministering to all of us. And so he taught me the gift of obedience, because through that time, once I got to, episode 100, I was like, man, he's the real deal. This isn't
Yeah.
a coincidence anymore. This isn't just, some random thing I'm trying to remember from my past or from what I've learned. He is giving us golden nuggets, and he wants to meet people where they're at.
That is so awesome.
Yes. And so it was just so amazing for me to watch that evolve and watch myself evolve in
Yeah.
confidence, knowing that I wasn't alone, that he was there, and he was, and he will continue to supply every need.
Right.
So, yeah. So when he told me that it was time to open the store, he said, now lay down everything that you've worked for all of these years.
Gosh.
And he said, boots to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
So I remember when I did the live, because I had a membership group, I had group coaching, I had individual coaching, all of these things. He said, give away your membership for free. And I remember sitting on that live. I could probably find it still on Facebook. And I'm just like bawling. I'm crying. And everybody's thinking that I'm being touched by the Lord. No, I'm crying because I was so sad that everything that was my identity that I had worked up for and, spent thousands and thousands of dollars, time, just all the things invested in this. He told me to give it away.
Wow. Wow.
And I did it. And it was so fascinating because I'm a total tech nerd. I love all things tech. And I always would be like, I knew all the latest apps coming out. I knew everything. That's what I would teach on, right? Teaching branding and all tech and all those things. And all of a sudden, once he told me about the store, the taste for that started leaving. So this is just to remind your listeners that you may think that what you are experiencing in the moment is your end all be all. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I've found my purpose. And then, we spend our whole lives looking for our purpose.
That's right. That's
But
so
what
true.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is that there isn't one single thing that you arrive at. It's by season. Every season has its purpose. And so in this season, those things that I love no longer served me.
Wow.
So he took the taste of that away from me, and he said, now boots to the ground, you're opening this store. I'm telling you, that whole thing of how we even got the store was a miracle in itself. Our address or our suite number at the mall is 2114. And for a while, the corporate team had said that I would be owning the fourth store. So when I saw that address, I took a picture of it and I said, oh, maybe this is a sign that this particular location is ours because it has a four. And then
Right.
the CEO, Sabrina, says, well, actually, that goes way deeper. She's like, do you know what 211 is? And I said, no. She said, it's the crisis hotline.
Wow.
And I said, okay, that makes sense. And then I found out that that location used to be the Apple store. Then it
Yeah.
was the Amazon store,
Yeah.
and then ours. And so I asked the Lord about that. I'm like, why do we need so much room? Why do we need this big old place that costs a lot of money in rent every month? And he said, it's not a coincidence that you're in this space. He said, Apple and Amazon are legacy companies. They're visible and they're influential. But
Oh,
he said,
wow.
but now it's my turn to put my fingerprint in the marketplace and leave my legacy there.
That is so good. That is so good. This part two, look up the
Yes.
testimony. It speaks volumes to me because I want to share just this little thing that happened to me over the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
So within this last year, I became like a plant mom. I don't know. Well, I do know where it came from. It came from this dry season I was in. The Lord, he just urged me to go pick out a few plants. And I was like, well, I don't know anything about plants. And so I went and got these plants, and I had to nurture these plants, grow these plants, like really learn how to keep these plants. And he was showing me, like, with me doing this, I can do ministry, right? And so there was so much I started learning from these. I would get so many revelations from these plants. So fast forwarding into like a few days ago, one of my plants, it grows really, really, really long. And so I named the plant Journey. And so I named it Journey again because the plant it grows so long. It's like, is this journey ever gonna end? Like it just came from like this cute little thing, right? And so the other day I needed to move Journey, and I was like, I don't have space for you anywhere because you're too long, Either I have to like hang you, and then it's like your leaves are too heavy for you to just hang anywhere, like it's weighing you down. And I was like, and I can't just sit you anywhere because, again, your leaves are too long. So what am
Mhm.
I going to do? And so I just went outside and I was about to start cutting on Journey. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got so sad. And I was like, if I cut this, it's just, it's like I'm ridding all of this work. I put in all this work.
Mhm.
I was like, it took so much time and I did this. Like, I did this. I didn't think I could do it and I did it. And so I felt like I conquered something. I felt like, this was just a great thing. I didn't want to get rid of it. And so as I began to cut it, I started shedding a few tears. I know, crazy, right? You're
Oh
shedding tears over a plant. And so
yeah.
and so as I began to cut it, it was just so amazing the revelation I got, because a lot of times we hear, get rid of like the dead things, or get rid of these things that are like weighing us down, or get rid of like the things that are like not good for us. But in this case, I was looking at like all this stuff is good. Like all these leaves are pretty, they're cute, and they're like they're still growing. They still have so much life in them. And what I got from that is, sometimes even in all the good that we gain, all the good, wisdom, knowledge, whatever it is that we pick up, and it's not that the it can weigh us down as well if we're not sharing it or reading it to make room for more. And
Yeah.
so just holding on to even the good, like even too much of the good, can be a bad thing for us. And so we have to learn to release. And listening to part two of your testimony, it just reminds me of like, wow, you worked your way up. Like you had everything, you worked toward
Mhm.
everything that you went to school for, everything that you've planted, you've grown, you put your money into, and you had to get rid of all of that stuff just so that you can grow and enter into this new place that was even healthier than the last place. That is such a blessing.
Amen.
That is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to ask you. You said that you learned in the second phase, like surrender, and you learned a little bit more about what was the word that you used?
Obedience.
Obedience. Yes,
Yes.
obedience and surrender. What is a jewel that you like, your favorite jewel that you would share that you learned in that process?
In order to be effective for the kingdom, I have to be willing to give up my dream for God's dream.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Give
It,
up your dream for God's dream.
yes.
That's so good. It that just kind of wraps it all together again, because I think that's something that we all can find ourselves in.
Mhm.
We learn even in school, like, what's your 5-year plan? Like, what's your
Mhm.
dream? What's your goal? And we write them out, and a lot of us begin to move in them, right? And
Mhm.
then it's like, when it starts flourishing, when it starts doing everything that you expect it to do, are you willing to drop that for, kingdom work, for the plan that God has for you, even if it looks completely opposite of that?
Yeah. It's fascinating to me to have the revelation that, we were created to be here during this time, during this season, during, this
Yeah.
generation for a purpose. And when we spend time doing the things that we weren't created for, it's just such a shame, but we put all our energy into it. And so we're so distracted by these things that God isn't able to use us.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah. And so we want to be able to spend this time in intimacy and relationship with the Father so that we can truly hear his voice
Yeah.
and be in the place where, if you're telling me to let go of security, because that was my paycheck, I
Yeah.
left it all and come into this place, then that means I need to trust you enough to know that you are going to meet every need in the
Every need.
dream and the plan that you created me for.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We didn't know how we were going to, pay the monthly rent at Crabtree. We didn't know how we were going to pay our team members. I didn't even know how to work the register on the first day. It all happened so quickly that
Wow.
I'm just like, look, I'm just going to show up and you're going to fill the gaps. And
Yeah,
he has in every single way.
that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is just phenomenal. I'm just in awe. Like, there's so much through this small conversation that has taken place. I'm almost afraid to go more. It's almost like we need a part two.
Yes.
Because it's just that good. And I just love to like dig deep into a lot of what was said. And so, um, wow, I can't wait to replay and just grab hold of the nuggets that I can use in this season of my life. And I think the thing that just keeps playing back for me personally is um, just to keep moving forward. And how do I get that out of what was said? Because obedience was just so loud, surrendering so loud, and it's like sometimes I feel because what I'm doing all the time isn't like you said, security.
Yeah.
But every single time God shows up. And so is that not enough security is the question I have to ask myself. Like, am I not enough security for you? Like, do I not always provide? Do I not always like exceed like everything
Yeah.
that you could imagine? And so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that
Well,
is so good for me.
obedience is a verb. So it implies action and movement, and surrender is rest. And so that's the beauty of God. It's like we're moving, but from a place of rest.
Yes.
And that's where the no anxiety, no overwhelm, no stress, no worry comes into play and can actually happen in a believer who trusts.
That's so good. I love how that was beautifully broken down. Um, so I always say that I believe that in that rest state that there's still a place of work, but how does that look or how does that feel? And I feel like you broke that down so beautifully because in him it's like when we are moving in obedience, it's like the rest that we have in him. And I always relate it to like when we're moving in our purpose that he has called us to, it's so easy and it's so smooth because all of
Right.
the things like you said, the anxiety, the stress, the pain, the worry, it's like it's canceled when we're doing the work of the kingdom. Like you said, you were able to sit down in that chair every time, no matter what was going on, and you'd have exactly what you need to go on and do the work of God, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so because you were in him, it's like that's just so beautiful. He gave you what you needed.
That's right.
That's so beautiful. Well, Monica, this has been so great. I'm telling you, I have to get another yes from you. Like I have to get you back for the rest of this story. Oh my gosh. I thank you again so much. You said that you were on Facebook Live for a whole year, 365 days. Is that still available? Like were they saved videos?
Yeah. So that's on my Mon Ministries page, MON Ministries for Entrepreneurs. And you can find that on Facebook easily.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that would be something really, really cool for the listeners to be able to go back on. I know I'm going to tune
Yeah.
into some, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And I
believe that
also
there's
have it
so.
on the podcast. So my podcast, and that is most of the episodes. I didn't start until about 4 or 5 months in, but and if you want to see the videos, you can see them on the Mon Ministries page. But the podcast is called Faith Led Business, and it has quite a few episodes on there as well.
That's awesome. And then also share girls page because that is just people that are local. I need them to run to that store. I just need them to feel what I feel when I go in there. I just need them to feel it.
Yes, we pray that place up night and day because we know how we're surrounded in that mall,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that we were placed there to be a light and change the atmosphere. So people will, when they walk in, they'll feel that tangibly, and
Mm-hmm.
all of our team members are equipped and to pray and help encourage people as well. So It's an awesome place. So that is our Facebook page is Sanctuary Girl Raleigh for our specific location. And we also have a Facebook group, Sanctuary Girl Raleigh VIP community, that people can join and find out, what's happening. We're starting to do, last Friday, we had our first worship night, which was so fun.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and we're going to continue doing those on Fridays. We're skipping this one because of the holiday, but the next Friday we'll be there 7 to 9. And it's really, really fun. We had about 20 people come out, and we had some music ministers come in, and someone shared a word. So it's turning into a kind of a hub
Yeah,
for encounter, for joy, for all the things. So I'm very excited about it.
that is so awesome. So you guys are gonna start doing that every Friday?
That's the plan. Yes.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I was so like, oh, I can't believe I can't make it. But so I'll have a chance. Look,
Yes, you
to
have a
get in the
chance.
room. That is so awesome. So again, guys, I just want to say, like, if you are in this area, Raleigh, Durham, Holly Springs, you know the area, the surrounding area, if you are anywhere in touch of these, race over to Crabtree Valley Mall and visit the Sanctuary Girl. I promise you will not be disappointed. Leave a prayer on the wall. Like I said, they pray over the prayer wall. And that's just, you don't find that a lot. So if you need a prayer to get through, they got some prayer warriors there to pray over the wall.
Yes, and
there's
we've had many prayers answered already. People
Yes, that's
in the
so
Facebook group tell us.
exciting.
Yes.
That is so exciting. And if you just need a moment to study, there's been a few times that I've grabbed my laptop and just went in there because the room is so set. You can just go in there and study and have a good time. So,
Yeah.
yep. Thank you so much again, Monica. It has been a pleasure hearing your story and just all of the things, The
My
mama
pleasure. I'm so excited. I always love to share because I know people get the revelation that it's not just for one person or another. It's for everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
gets to walk in their yes and how God will meet them there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If this is your first time tuning in to Circle Up with Amanda Herd, we welcome you here. I pray that this testimony that was shared was a testimony that reached you right where you were. You were able to find some jewels, some tools that you can use on your journey, that you will surrender your yes and walk in obedience this faith journey. I'm telling you guys, this is something that you are going to love. It may not always be easy, but trust me, it is always worth it. If you love what you hear and you want to put a face to the voice, follow us on our Facebook and Instagram at CircleUp_AH. And we are trying to grow our YouTube page, so you can find us there at Circle Up with Amanda Herd. That's HERD. Be blessed, guys. Bye.